Tiffany. How are you?
I'm great. How are you, Mr. Brown?
I am good. I am good on this fine Sunday
That's all.
afternoon. Look, enjoying the warm weather,
Well, I
but
was. I had my windows open.
yeah.
The breeze was coming. It was beautiful, right? Then
Uh-huh.
they started drilling the sidewalk. What? Why are they doing that on a Sunday?
I'm correct.
I need somebody to explain to me why they're interrupting this beautiful Sunday afternoon with some drilling. So if it gets loud, that's what it is.
Hey baby, thank you for coming. And yeah, so you're not the only one experiencing noise right now. Cause hubby has a little crew out there and they're tearing up our back. So
Are we
I've been
getting
listening
full?
to
Are we getting
banging.
full?
Not a pool, but we're restructuring our back patio and deck and all that stuff. Yeah, so
Um,
yeah,
I
yeah.
thought I was coming over for some pool
For
parties.
some pool time. And it's like we thought about it like maybe a few years ago, but I was like, we're not big pool people. But I'm wondering like if having a pool would change that, but I don't know.
Yeah, and like it would definitely change your friendship circle. It would grow
Listen, everybody like I'm coming
exponentially.
to take a dip.
Hey, are you guys home? I just wanted to come by and say hi. Oh, and I have my bathing suit.
Okay, that part. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So apparently, like years ago, the family that used to have that lived in this house that we ended up buying, they apparently must have had a pool because when we were doing some putting up like a new shed and stuff in the back,
Uh-huh.
it was like all the sand and stuff. And my husband was like,
What
"Baby,
is
he said,
that?
I think they had a pool back here at one point." So and they and probably ends up breaking it down. But yeah, but it was a lot of sand that you would use for a pool.
Right.
So it definitely was one there, but we made like some of these different changes since we've been in the house.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah. So I don't know. We'll
There are a
see.
lot of upkeep.
We'll see. But anyway, how's your week been?
It's been good. It's been a lazy week for me, pretty much. But let me tell you, I had braids in my hair from my vacation because we went to St. Martin.
Yeah. Well, how was
And
that?
it was beautiful.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
I love
Hello,
saying
bye, God. I know I'm saying your name wrong. Sorry.
hey, hey, happy Sunday. Thanks for coming in. Um, yeah, that was can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, yeah, yeah. So yeah, I love St. Martin. I know you had a great time.
Oh, I had an amazing time.
I
We
know you
did
did.
the helmet diving. You know, when you go in the ocean walk with the helmet in the
Yeah.
bottom. We did that. That was a phenomenal time. It was really good. Yes,
Love it,
yes,
love Oh my
yes.
God.
So I
That
had
sounds
braids in my hair, and I I was trying to wait a whole month because my partner says that I don't keep braids in my hair for any time. I spend all this money and I
all
don't
that
keep
money.
them. Yeah, so I'm
Right.
like, I'm going to keep them in for a month just to prove you wrong. So last night I took them out. So this is the result.
Okay, but you got the wavy look going on. Still
Yeah, but
cute.
I couldn't. Listen, I'm too lazy to wash it right now, and I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it. Look, you one thing or the
Look,
other. Okay.
the wavy big hair. The wavy big hair. Love it. Love
So
it.
yeah,
Love it.
it's been a lazy week, and that's what I did with my Saturday. Took my braids out.
Okay. Okay.
How
Okay.
about you?
So for me, it was just getting my life right for my week
Okay.
because life is so crazy, by me being an educator.
Mm-hmm.
I'm always going through and it's like no stopping, and then I take the weekends to try to regroup, get ready for my week and plan
Mm-hmm.
ahead and stuff. So I did a lot of that. Yep, getting my life right, I call it. Getting my life right for the week.
You need a
Yeah.
whole weekend for that sometimes.
I like, especially me, because I guess I have like educated brain, so like I'm always planning and
Oh.
preparing.
And then being
So
a mother and a grandmother, those
that
things
part,
too.
That part. That part. Yes, 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 yes. So I always say it's never a dull moment. It's never a dull moment. Yep, never a dull moment.
Hola, Christina.
Yes, I see we got a lot of new friends in here. Hola. Thank you for being here for our Sister Sunday. As you guys can see, for all my returners, I have my lovely guest co-host. So we just been talking and rambling and everything. So let me formally introduce her for those that don't know. Um, Her name is Denise. I don't know if Denise wants to do her own little introduction for our newbies in the house, but
Okay.
the floor is yours, girl.
Hi, everybody. My name is Denise, and I'm just out here with Tamika today to get some sister talk going. And I hope y'all enjoy. I am.
Yes, yes, yes,
Listen,
yes.
I had to close on my windows. The air doesn't come on yet because it's not time. I had to
Okay.
close on my windows because they were drilling outside. So I'm hot.
Oh,
Hence the tank top. So, and I've got my fan going, but I might break out into one of those private summers. So if you see me ducking, I'm looking for my fan.
I got you. I feel you. I feel you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, I had to break down and cut the arrow last night, child. I couldn't do. I couldn't do. I had to break
I'm
down
not
and cut
there
it,
yet. I'm
girl.
not there yet. I'm not there yet.
Had to break down and cut it. I was like, child, because like them flashes be hitting. They be like, girl, I can't even
Oh,
do. But
geez.
so that's going to kind of lead us into our discussion today with
Right.
my lovely co-host. So, we're talking about the second chapter in our life and like making the most of the next phase, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, as you guys might already know, I'm a Gigi. My lovely co-host is a grandmother,
And I'm
and you know,
also a Gigi.
see, oh, you see,
We got the
Gigi like
same. We got the same grandma name.
Gigi's in the house. See, I wasn't sure if you would go my grandma or Gigi. Yeah, but yeah. So you have two Gigi's in front of you. So yeah, but the second chapter, you know, for me becomes like a new beginning. So we're gonna dive into like what the second chapter in life actually like signifies and like how we dealing and coping with the second chapters in our lives and going through the next phases. So they consider like the second chapter in your life like a transition into like a new phase or stage of your new life, like marked by like significant changes and like potential like new beginnings. And it could be like viewed as a period of like reinvention, like reinventing yourself
Yeah,
and like
yeah, yeah.
exploring like new directions and embracing like new possibilities of like a fresh start and stuff. So they were saying like when you come to like your transition and change. Hello, thank you everybody for being here. I appreciate you for joining us for our Sister Talk Sunday. So it was saying like when you go through like your transition and change, it's like you know, you might have like a period of, like disorientation or uncertainty, like trying to adjust like to your new reality. Like
Right.
have that ever like happened to you like thinking about okay now what's next like how am I going to adjust to everything that's new or changing in my life? You ever go through that?
Oh my gosh. I feel like every day it's an adjustment. It's like life doesn't come with a manual, right?
Right.
So every time something new happens, right? You gotta
Uh-huh.
adjust.
Uh-huh.
So,
Right. Right.
you know, the pandemic changed everything for me.
Okay.
I and like it's like I had all these plans to do all these things when I turned 50, right?
Okay.
And then
Okay.
that was in 2020, right?
Okay.
But then the
Uh-huh.
pandemic hit and I had to pivot. And like honestly, I'm still pivoting, still trying to figure it out, you know,
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
because I'm a hairdresser by profession. I don't want to go back there.
Oh,
I don't want to be so close with the public, I guess, you know,
got
where
you.
where
Got
it
you.
where it um where it determines my bottom line.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Because
Mm-hmm.
you know, when the sickness came through, nobody else could like I couldn't do hair anymore. So
Oh, right,
that
right.
determined, how I was going to move forward, right?
Wow, wow. Yeah,
So
yeah, yeah. I forgot about that.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So, you know, I don't know. Like, so I just feel like everybody has to pivot all the time in any situation. But we set these goals for ourselves in life. Oh,
Mm-hmm.
when my children are grown and
Mm-hmm.
gone, I'm going to relax. But that's not realistic, right?
It's not. It's not. It's
Yeah,
not.
yeah,
It's
yeah,
not.
yeah, 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 yeah.
It's
Because
not.
relaxing is just a part of life. What are you going to do with the other part of your life,
Other part.
right?
I
Now that
know.
you're
I
not
know.
making sure dinner is on the table by 5,
Yep.
6 o'clock,
Yep.
rushing home from work and
Mm.
doing all the things that mommies do, all
Right.
that. And now since all of that is gone,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
all this extra time, what are you doing with it?
Right. Right.
How do you fill that void?
Right, 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 right. So that's why I can see like how you can have like the feelings of like, uncertainty, like what's gonna happen, right? And like you were saying, like, being a hairdresser, then the pandemic hit and stuff, and I'm sure that was like a big change or
It
adjustment right
was
there.
huge.
Hey, Octa Parker, I saw you in here, honey. I didn't get a chance to give you a shout out. Thank you, love, for being here. Yeah. So for me, like the second chapter was kind of like similar, but like in a different type of way. Like thinking about like motherhood, right? Um, Being like an empty nester, and I'm not really an empty nester right now, because I still have one at home. But it was a big adjustment when the kids were starting to move out like one by one. And I think it started with my oldest when she went away to college, right, fresh out of high school, and it was like, oh my god, like what am I going to do without having my child away and gone and so far away, because
Right.
she decided to go to school like 3 hours away, 3.5 hours away. And I'm like, oh my god, like that was like a big adjustment for me, and I think it was a lot of adjustment for her as well,
Mhm.
because she got there and then she like, like, oh my god, like I gotta come back home and finish school, right?
Mhm,
Because
mhm.
we're not used to being that far apart. But I think it started there, like when having my first like go away, like so far,
Yeah, yeah.
and not to it, right? Yeah. So and it, like I said, it did create that, like, oh my god, like I don't know what we're gonna do, like with her being that far away. But it was like a new reality. It was definitely a new
But
reality.
yeah, it was like, well, like my daughter went away to college. It was that same thing. It was like it was a transition, right? But it was also like, oh, she's not here, but I still had the other ones. So I really wasn't out of the mommy mood until like I was really done.
See,
And then it was
see.
like, and my youngest daughter when she left, it was like she didn't think she was coming back like home. And I'm like,
Oh, okay,
oh wait,
okay.
so that's gonna make me like a real empty nester. What am I gonna do at that time, right?
Right, 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 right,
So that's
right.
where I was. I was a little like, okay, now you talk all that. I'm gonna do me now, and I'm gonna. What's that even mean?
I know. Did that do me? Right, 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 right.
It was
Um, yeah, 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 yeah. So I understand with the do me part. Like I felt like I started doing me like when they were like old enough to like take care of themselves. Like they still be in mommy mode, but be like, okay, now I gotta worry about babysitters and all that stuff. But
uh-huh.
yeah, but I definitely understand that part. And they were saying like how like sometimes you can do a change in like a career when you start going to that second chapter, or you can start going changing relationships, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or changing your lifestyle, right? Let's talk about that. Child.
Okay, let's talk about that. So I determined that I was gonna move out of my place. I lived in this big spot. It was just me and my daughter. I
Uh-huh.
determined in 2020, I'm moving out of here. I'm going to move into like a little one bedroom, something small. I'm going to start. I'm going to really look for a relationship, settle down, and blah blah. And
Uh-huh.
then COVID hit.
Ooh.
Also, January 1, 2020, I moved in to my new place, and I
Mhm.
loved it. It's a teeny tiny place, but it was perfect for me because it was like I couldn't have all the junk and all the things, and that was, and because I love shopping, right?
Mhm.
So I
Mhm.
couldn't have all those things anymore. So that really, like, it made me more what's the word I'm looking for? It just calmed me down
Calm you
with
down. Calm you down.
a
Okay.
lot of things, right? And then
Uh-huh.
when I realized that now I'm in this space and I'm by myself, it was feeling a little lonely.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So then I met my current partner, and we've been together 5 years this month ever since.
Oh,
So
nice.
like
Nice.
everything worked the way it was supposed to go. But
Right.
now moving forward, we travel a lot.
Mm.
So it's like my second chapter is being written every day.
Nice. Nice.
I
Nice.
started out thinking it was going to be one way, and
Uh-huh.
then it flipped and changed, and I'm perfectly fine with it. I love it.
Right.
Which,
Love that.
yeah, I'm still in my teeny tiny place, and I hope to move into another, like just bigger for he and I, but still small. I
Okay.
don't want all the things.
Child, the downsizing, right? I,
Yes, I
I
want to stay
understand.
downsized.
I understand. I do. Oh my goodness. Oh my god. I have not gotten to that place in my life because I still like things. and I need room for things.
Yes,
It's funny because like the house my husband and I used to live in, like it was fine, but it was like, but I feel like we were like outgrowing the house, and it was just us and my youngest son. But because of my love of things and his love of things, it was like, you know what, we need to get a bigger house. So
right.
ended up getting a bigger house, and now it's like, okay, he's like, baby,
Okay.
baby,
Now we gotta
right?
fill it.
Listen, he's like, now he like, okay. He said, I ain't got no room to build anything else in his house, like because things still accumulating. It's like when we got the house, we're like, oh my god, like we got so much house, but we filled up everything in the house, like literally everything in the house is like no room for nothing else. And he reminds me of that all the time. Like, honey, I'm not building you another closet. I'm not like you just have to stop. I'm like, okay. I was like, man, like when I look around, I was like, yeah, I definitely have to do some purging. I definitely have to do some purging and stop collecting so many things. Stop collecting so many things
Well, my
because
partner
then
says when you
it'll be
put
out.
something out, you can only bring something in when you put something out.
Put something out. Okay.
That has to be the rule.
And that's the rationale. That's what I be thinking too. And I buy something like, bro, I'm gonna take if I buy a new pair of shoes, I'm gonna take a pair out and just, it's gonna be in my accumulated donated box that never got donated. It's like it says, how many boxes of donated shoes do you have? There's like 5 boxes and you ain't donated nothing yet. I'm like,
Well, my shoe rack collapsed last week.
really?
Yeah, so yeah, yeah, yeah.
Oh
So
god.
maybe like
Child.
it's better to just get rid of the stuff.
Uh-huh, uh-huh. Oh man, yeah,
Yeah.
I know. I think I said like probably around this summer I'm going to really like buckle down, and a lot of those boxes and stuff that I'm slowly donating, gotta really actually like donate it and get it out of the house.
Mhm.
But yeah, but I definitely could say, like our lifestyle, our location changed, or something, moving to our town and things. So we definitely did like a lot of changes, and there's that second chapter in our life. And I know
So
like
what?
some people even like change careers,
Right.
right? Yeah, and I feel like I got serious with my career. Like once my kids, started moving out and get grown, starting their own families and stuff, and I did like a whole like shift in my career, like
Okay.
literally, right? So yeah, like going to like the business world and then going into teaching, right? So I'm like, all right, well, like I kind of like dibbled and dabbled in it, but I wasn't really like that enthusiastic about it. when they were younger. I guess because I still had younger kids, and it was like, okay, it's so exhausting to be teaching and then come home and you have younger kids too, because you're still in like full blown mommy mode, right?
Yeah, yeah.
I understand. I was like, oh no, this I can't do this. Like I have to be in a career where I can like be business minded. I'm dealing with adults, right? And then I can come home and be a mom to the kids.
Yeah.
And for some reason that like shifted. Like some years ago, I would say way before the pandemic actually hit, I was like, okay, my love for teaching just started like overwhelming again, you know.
Okay.
So I was like, all right, well, let me just, go back to school, refresh up on my skills and, to get back into the education world.
Uh-huh.
And this is where I am. And now I rethink that every day, like, was that the best? Was that the best? But it's just still rewarding to be able to teach the babies, but it's definitely a lot. And definitely takes a lot.
Yeah.
It takes a lot. Yeah. So I don't feel like I could have really like done it when my kids were younger and they were still in school and they had the middle school experiences and the high school, all the stuff that comes along with being a mom and a parent, So I don't think I could have really been able to like juggle that a lot.
Yeah. So like, do you think that you'll be doing anything else like outside of what you're doing currently moving forward?
I do.
What are your aspirations moving forward?
So I really desire to retire. I do. I really want to retire and dive more into something that I can do more like community based, like to like help like people like learn like a skill or a craft or something to like keep them busy or elevate themselves or something. Not do like the 9 to 5 thing where I have to like punch your clock and stuff like that. It's like, and I'm really, really trying to think about what my stance is going to be on that. Like, what's my next steps? Like, how would I go in that direction? But I have to retire first. I feel like I have to retire first.
What's keeping you back from retiring?
Not the time. I don't have the time to do it. Yeah. I have more years to go before I'm actually able to retire because I did such a big shift in my career, and now it's kind of like starting over again, so I still have to put some more time and years in before I can actually like really retire in education the way I want to. I feel like at my age now that if I probably would have stayed with education years ago, I probably would be ready to retire like right now. Ready to retire right now. So now it's just like starting over. So it's like starting over again. So yeah.
So there's like a lot of times I wonder like where the resources come from for starting over for women and just people in general over 40.
Right.
So like and like what are my aspirations? Like are my aspirations to have more money or just to find a better way to just live with whatever, with the time we have. Like do I want to fill it with on the grind, trying to get more and more and more, and I'm not there.
Yeah.
I just want to. My partner's retired. I'm semi-retired. That's what I tell them.
Yeah. Yeah. I love that.
Vacations, and I'm working on this little line, this clothing line that I'm working on, and
nice.
Yeah, and then I had this this real estate situation that I'm working on. And like but those things are also to let me have something to do because you really do need things to do. Like we like to go on vacation, but we're not doing that all the time. We don't live on a perpetual vacation. But it sounds nice.
Right.
We're not on vacation for in perpetuity. I mean, like, it's
Mm-hmm.
not realistic.
Okay.
So, I mean, with the time, you know what happens with idle minds? It's the devil's playground. Isn't that what they say?
Yep.
So,
Yep. Yep. Yep.
and at this big age, I have attention issues. So I
Mm-hmm.
feel like, when I have a lot going on, nothing gets done. So I
Mm-hmm.
need to pace myself.
Mm-hmm.
Because, just as a mother, you always have something going on. So you really don't have the opportunity to slow down and figure out, I want to do this now and do that now. But now
Right.
here I need to get things in order so that I
Mm-hmm.
can figure out just how I want to do things and how things are supposed to be done for me, not
Mm-hmm.
for nobody else. Because that's,
Right.
you know,
Right.
half my life
Right.
is taking care of other people.
Mm-hmm.
So now it's about taking care of me
Mm-hmm.
mentally, physically. So in the best shape that I've been in my life.
Mm. Mm.
Basically,
Love
I'm
that.
dealing with past traumas and, healing in certain areas where I, maybe never thought I'd heal from, you know.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Um,
Mm-hmm.
physically, I need to move more, but I move. I'm great. Like, I can touch your toes. I can, you know what I'm saying? I can,
I know that's right.
like, but I need to
Yeah.
do more. You know,
Yeah. That's
I need to do more. We all need to do more. We all need to keep moving. I try to tell younger people all the time, like, you gotta move. You gotta don't wait until you're in your 40s to start thinking about your health,
that part.
because it's harder to do things later in life if you're not already doing them. Like,
Yeah.
if you're already somebody who gets up and runs every day, stay
Mm-hmm.
with them.
Right.
Or if you're
Right.
gonna start it and don't stop it.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Can't take
Yeah.
breaks from
Mm-hmm.
your health. You can't play around with it. You
Yep.
can't you can't eat cake every day and then say, why am I getting so bad?
Right. Exactly. Exactly. Oh my God. It's like I love that you're bringing light to that, because I felt like, especially like when I got into my 40s, I took a lot of my health like very, very seriously, to where I was like obsessing. Like, I had to be in the gym every day, all day. Like, go to get off of work, go to the gym. Like, just constantly and consistently, to the point where, like, I was like looking like I was like still like in high school, right? And that light
Uh,
bulb didn't go off until somebody said to me, like, "Wow, look at you looking all high school skinny." I'm like, "Oh wow, like maybe I'm overdoing it. Maybe it's a little too much. Maybe it's a little
right,
too much. I want to look like I want to look healthy and fit, but I don't want to look sick. Like I'm still a little teeny bopper in high school with no curves, no shape, no nothing,
right,
right?
right, right,
And,
right.
and, and I think, and that was also during a period of my life where, like, I had a lot of like stress going on too. So I felt like that going to the gym and working out obsessively, like in my 40s, was the way to escape. Was a way to escape a lot of things that were like happening in my life, and
Right.
keep making me say, well, I don't want to, go home to deal with it. I'm just going to go to the gym, right? So that for me, that was a big like change in my life too, when it was starting to come like to my next phase,
Mhm.
right? Because how we was talking about like how it can involve like changes and like careers, or talk about changing my career, and like in relationships, and how you were talking about how you started a new relationship. Well, like I had been like married before too, right? So that was a big change and adjustment.
Mhm.
I had to like start over, like rebuild, not knowing what that was going to look like. You want to like find that forever person and that partner and that relationship that's going to be what you were looking for and expecting in a last relationship. I know for me, I'm like, okay, I was married, having kids, and I did not feel like that relationship was like the best for me. So it was a big adjustment when it was time to go to like that next phase and that next start. And it was like, and I was, probably like in my 30s or something. And you don't think about like, oh wow, like, okay, I've been with this person for, so long. And it's like, okay, now what is life going to look like in in the next phase or the next chapter? But I think it helped me get through that next chapter when my kids were okay.
Right.
Like they were like, like mom, like we feel good now. Like we feel happy. We're happy that you're free. We're happy that you're happy.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
think they really helped me. They really helped me get to that next phase of the life. So and realize like how influential your kids can be. You try to do things to like I know for me, like to protect them, and it's say, okay, I'm making this decision because of you, and not really listening to them and see like how they feel about it. Because you're not dumb. They see what you're going through, and and they probably want better for you than you probably want for yourself, or you think that you're staying in situations because you don't want to break up your home, and it might end up being best. So that was a new phase in my life, a new chapter. And it's like, then I think about like fast forward, it was like, okay, so I needed to like make these moves because I was not happy. Like I was like literally killing myself, trying to be in the gym, running away from something. Right. And it's like now that I've gotten remarried, found love again, and it's like you get into that comfortable mode. So now I think about it like, okay, all right, I'm comfortable, I'm happy, I'm in love, I have a husband that truly adores me, and it's like, okay, but now I have to like probably take my health and stuff a little bit more serious, know?
Yeah. Because you want to stay alive with that person. You two want to be healthy together. So the parts that weren't so good in your love life, now you can relive that with somebody else and make it right? That's what it feels like. Like you said, second chance. Like it's like, for me, it's a breath of fresh air. I felt like I never really had peace of mind, and now I have peace of mind. And I won't let anybody disturb that feeling, that energy. I will not. If you're over here bringing drama or anything, I don't have that in my life.
Okay.
He's my best friend, and if I don't have drama with him, I'm certainly not going to allow somebody else to come in.
That part.
So it's like,
yes, that part. Yes. So do you find like being a seasoned woman in your 50s and fabulous, like do you have
salt and pepper to the party? I brought my salt and pepper to the party.
I know that's So do you find like in this stage of your life that you have like a less tolerance for like things like I feel like I've gotten like so set like in my way that I'm not going to like allow nobody to disturb my peace, like you were saying. It's like if you're that disruptive person or your energy is off, that I don't want it around me. Like I don't waste that time anymore.
I'm not figuring you out. You're not that important for me to figure you out. And if you are important to me, I'm going to tell you what I feel and see what you do with it. If you continue in the way that you're going, then it's your maybe I'll love you, but I'll love you from afar.
That part.
I'm not putting up with any of that anymore, ever again.
Ever.
Like no control, no, trying to make you feel bad about anything and trying to bring you into a situation that has nothing. I'm not doing any of that. I wipe my hands of all of that. I'm not being a part of anything negative, or I feel that's negative. It might not be negative to anybody, but it's negative to me. And if it's negative to me, I'm not giving it energy.
There you go. Yeah. Because I found myself like I think about it a lot. It's like how how you say people like come and go in your life, and and I feel like that I've made so many different changes within myself that I'm okay with just like being in my little bubble, as I call it, being in my little bubble, right? If it's bringing me peace and I don't feel like a comfort with certain like people around me in my life. And it's like, God, it's like it took me to get like to this age to like to really realize that I don't like need to be like surrounded with people, you
Right.
know, people are just not conducive or just not
Right.
bringing me like that positive joy or energy in my life, you know. And I'm like, dang, like, I'm like, am I just like start getting old and stubborn or what? But I say I don't
It's
consider
like,
myself
but
old,
aren't
but
you glad that part of you now exists? That that it didn't exist before? Like
right,
you allowed certain things to happen, you allowed
right,
certain people around you, even though it didn't feel right to you. It's like we
right.
really put up with a lot of things when we were younger, because I don't know, it's like we weren't taught to say, no, I don't want that. And
Yes, 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 yes,
and I'm
yes.
sure our mothers put up with a lot of stuff.
Okay, okay, that part,
So,
that part.
you know, I don't know.
Yes.
I don't know why I'm touching this. I don't know why I'm touching it. I don't know how to get things off the screen. All these things are popping up. I'm like, oh, what's that? Oh, wait. Oh, there I go again. All right, wait a minute. Wait a minute. Okay. Keep talking. You can hear me though, right?
Yeah, I can, I
Oh,
can.
okay. I'm sorry. Let me get this up. There we
Yeah,
go.
but yeah, but they were saying like that using that transition and change is like a time to like reevaluate your values and like
Yeah.
your goals and your priorities. And I feel like I did so much of that, like just reevaluating things. You know, like what is more valuable to me? Like what can I tolerate? What I cannot tolerate? You know,
Or
who
refuse to tolerate too.
you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Like, and I could definitely like relate to like how like you start like to really like prioritize things. You know,
Right.
I really start prioritizing a lot more
Right.
things,
Right.
right? And then
Yes.
they were talking about how like when you start having like the new beginnings and like the reinvention of yourself, right?
Sure.
And when you can explore like new interests, and like your passions and your skills and stuff, right?
Right.
So, you know, I feel like that I've been like interested in, you know, things that I probably wouldn't have been interested in before, right?
Right. And also too, right? So when my partner and I go away on vacation,
Hmm.
we always do something new, something that neither one of us have done before.
Right. I'm not sure if my audience can hear you because your camera's not on. Sometimes when the camera's not on, the audience can't really hear
Oh, I'm sorry.
conversation.
Hold on.
Yeah.
Do it again. Oh shit. Wait a minute.
Yeah. Okay. So, well, as we can see, we're having technical difficulties. So, uh, I guess she would join us back in. But yeah, but we were just talking about like how the new beginnings can be a period like or reinventing yourself, like and exploring like the new interests and like the passions and skills. And I feel like at this stage in my life that I have gained like new interests and stuff, right? And I'm trying to explore like new things and stuff and kind of see where that leads me, because eventually I would love to, you know, be in community where I can you know, be able to help somebody else, you know, get, you know, learn a skill or something, you know, like I'm starting to figure out my love of doing like artsy stuff and craft things and stuff. And I kind of experimented with it like over the holiday time. Like I never like had that a desire to want to like try like DIY projects and stuff. And then, you know, I just okay, I'm just gonna go for it instead of like trying to go out and buy something that's already, you know, assembled. I just literally went and got like the pieces myself. Got all the pieces. You know, I said, you know what? I am going to try to put together. Like for example, like I've really like made like my own grief. And I was like, I've never, ever, ever tried that, and I never really, prior to like last year, never had really had a desire to like just try to do something on my own. So I'm like, okay, so is this next phase or next chapter like really like hitting or setting in that I'm exploring my options and ready to take on a new skill or a new adventure? Because I literally put that thing together and like felt like so proud of myself. And and I'm like, and it's turned out really well. So I think just by like stepping out and saying I'm gonna try it, it ignited something inside of me to say, oh my God, I could really see myself doing this. I could really see myself doing this, And now I have that desire to want to continue to explore options of doing like DIY things and trying to do like my own like craft and maybe like get so good and perfect it to the point where I can like actually teach somebody to do it, right? But they were talking about like how it is like that opportunity to like reinvent yourself and embrace like your new identities and create a life to align with your values, right? And they said like many people do take the new chapter to start fresh, right? And start leaving like stuff behind and like getting rid of like old routines and embracing like new possibilities. And my co-host and I were talking about like when you like get to like the next phase of your life, it can be opportunity to do like a fresh start, right? So and I feel like I got like a fresh start in a lot of situations. Hey, welcome back. Yeah, I was just talking about like how when you're in that next chapter, like it is like the opportunity, like you can do like a fresh start, right? And fresh starts are good. fresh starts are good.
Yes.
They're definitely good.
Yes, I agree.
So yeah, like it's like a way of like leaving behind like old like habits and routines and stuff like that, and like new possibilities. Like I was talking about how like up last year when I dipped my hands into trying to do my own DIY projects, which I've never been that excited or enthusiastic to try before. Because for one, I never thought that I would be good at it. That I thought that I can handle such a task. And I just stepped out, was like, you know what? I'm getting this itch, this bug to want to try to do this on my own. And I just went and gathered the materials. I was like, I'm going to do this. And I was like, so proud of myself. So proud. I was like, oh my God, like who knew? Because I've never been that like arts and craft person, that person that felt like I could like
your hands.
Huh?
When you make things with your own hands.
Yes. I was like, I felt so good. And I was telling our viewers, I'm like, it ignited something. It did. Like I felt that spark, like, oh my God, I did it. I conquered my fear of thinking that I could not do that. And that I couldn't put something together and it would turn out looking like something.
Right.
So now I'm like definitely excited.
I love when I'm teaching people arts and crafts and they see what they made and they're so like, I'm so proud of myself. And I'm always saying, I'm proud of you too, because, you didn't think you would like it or you didn't think you could do it. And look at it, it's done.
I know. Yeah, that's right. Like you're big in that. What is that life? Like what made you decide to like do that? Was that something in your next phase of life or were you already
my mother was a crafter. She was Martha Stewart. I mean, she was a decorator. And, our house was always beautiful. Like, and just so I always had the niche for it. She drew, she painted, she did ceramics, she did everything. So it just came natural to me, I guess. So I always loved doing things, making little things, and the joy it brought people when I would give them things that I had made.
Nice.
I felt it, and it made me feel good.
Nice.
People felt like, or that you took the time and did something like this for me. And that's why I love that.
Yes, yes. That's awesome. Yeah, I never I didn't grow up. My mom was a hard worker. So she never like had time to like do like the artsy crafty stuff. So I wasn't really exposed to it. That's why I was surprised that when I hit like in my 50s, I had that itch to like, oh my God, like I want to try my hand at something. I want to
Yeah,
make something my
yeah.
own, right? So it's like now it's like that I got a little taste of it. It's like now I just want to continue and see how far I can go and see how good I get at it, so where I can start showing other people, right? I'm like, so I
Right.
can see the joy. Like I'm like, just by me having that little taste of doing it, like I can understand the joy that it brings you that when you're able to do that, like for other people. Yeah, so I'm excited to like really like learn a lot more than what I actually know. Right?
Yes.
I feel it's so fun, and like and then I'm talking about like retiring. I need something to do to pass the time too. Right?
There you have it. There you have it.
Right? That's the time. So like we were talking about like the transition to change and like the beginnings of like reinventing yourself. And it was like talking about the different examples. Like one we were talking about was like the career changes, right? Like
Yes.
being able to start like a new business or something or pursuing a long passion of yours, right? Like a
Right.
lot of people do that in their next phase, like their
Yeah.
second chapter. Like they like you said, you reinvent yourself. It's like, okay, I've always wanted to do this, right? I always wanted to start my own business, right? Now this is my opportunity or my chance to do that. So yeah, so like so outside of like what you're doing, if there's anything that you like been passionate about that you said, okay, I wanna try my hand at that or something.
So right now, like I was saying earlier, that I'm working on two things that I'm really kind of focused on. I'm really passionate about the tiny house living, or just um
Okay.
living. Yeah. So funny story. When I was a little girl, I shared a room with my two older sisters. We're five of us. There's five girls.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
the two oldest sisters had their own bedroom, and then the three younger sisters had to share a room. But
Okay.
I would take everything out of our closet. We had a pretty big closet, and I would just put a sleeping bag in there. And guess what? I use as a night. I light the light bright.
Okay. Like right.
I would
Okay.
use it as my light, and I set up this is my room, this is my space, so I always wanted like a little space to myself. So, and I realized that I didn't need to have a lot of space to make that happen for me. Then
Nice.
my parents passed away, and they lived in Charlotte,
Okay.
and
Okay.
we had to go down and clean out their house. And I told you my mother was a decorator. They had
Mm.
a 4,000 square foot home, and every
Wow.
room was fully furnished.
Mm.
I mean, she collected Yadro and tea servers,
Mm.
and like, so she had all this crystal and
Mm.
porcelain,
Nice.
silver. But
Nice.
where's that stuff now, you ask? It's in my sister's basement. You see, because
Wow.
after you're gone, those things it's just stuff to somebody else. Like,
Right. Right.
unless
Right.
I was a person who was a collector of things,
Mm-hmm.
and had the space for it.
Mm-hmm.
So I vow to not leave that same legacy to my children. Like,
Got
when
it.
when I go on, move on, they're not gonna have to do away with a whole lot of stuff,
Got it. Got it. Got
because
it.
stuff is what is plaguing this country. The
Mm-hmm.
need for stuff, the need
Right.
for things,
Right. Right.
and it's created greed
Mm-hmm.
and envy, and like, it's the vein of our existence, is
Mm-hmm.
having to need things to fill voids.
Right.
And
Right.
like, I mean, now they even have shows behind it, hoarders,
Yeah. Yeah.
because
Yeah.
people accumulate so much stuff they can't let go of. Like, I
Right.
have all of my kids' things from all throughout elementary school, high school. I've got their cap and gowns from graduations, and
Yeah.
although
Got this.
those
Yeah.
things were beautiful and amazing while it was happening.
Yeah.
What am I doing with it? So
Yeah.
I told my daughter, I said, I'm going to give you all your pictures, all your things. She's like, what am I going to do with it? Why do I need? I'm not taking them out and saying, oh, like here's all of your things from your past. You never see this stuff again.
Right,
You know,
right,
so I'm
right,
trying
right.
to. My daughter's not having any children, and she's like, I'm not. Who am I leaving these things to?
Okay.
I look at my mother's photos, old photos, and my father's, and I'm thinking like, oh, I always think about how they grew up, but I still have no answers behind the photos.
Oh, okay, okay,
What is
okay.
the importance of this day? Like what,
Right.
everything seems to be like you're so hands on. Everything is tangible. So, like, why do we need the extra things to fill any voids? We can reach out to people just like this without, sending a card
Yeah.
or, all those
Right,
things
right.
that we hold on to over time because it just brings back a memory or whatever. Those
Mm-hmm.
things, those things are what my kids are probably gonna have to do away with. I have like a Barbie collection I'm working on. That kind of thing can be handed down to my granddaughters. Somebody will want it, maybe not. And if not, they can get rid of it. But
Right,
it's still like other things,
right,
like
right.
old furniture. Take this
Mm-hmm.
up to the Salvation Army. These clothes, if you don't want them, give them to somebody else. Don't hold on to
Child,
them again.
child, don't even talk about it, girl. I'm like, like that's definitely on my to-do list, and that's funny because I love some shoes and clothes and handbags and stuff like that, and like I call myself Persian like a year or so ago. And I was glad to get a lot of stuff on my hands. My daughter was able to take some stuff off my hands. But it's like in doing that, it's like once you start purging stuff, I know for me, it's like, okay, now I see something else cute I want. I was like, I have got to get out of that habit. I have got to get out of that habit because
Turn around.
you just gave me like a light bulb moment when you were saying like how when your mom passed away, like she like had all these things, she had all these things in her home. And I think about it, and as I look around, I was like, yeah, I love to decorate, everything has its own place, I love to make a house feel like a home.
Right.
And but at the end of the day, like I said, like suppose you do pass on, then your kids, or someone they have to like figure out what to do with it all, right?
Yeah.
And it's crazy that we're having this conversation because literally I was just in my I call it my sheet room. Like my husband took one of our bedrooms and turned it to this full walk-in closet for me, an office, because I always have to have my own space because I always have shoes and stuff. That's always our joke, always our joke. But I was in there and I was looking around and I'm like, wow, I was like, this whole room is like literally dedicated to me and all of my I was like, what they do with this stuff if God called me home? You know what I'm saying? It's like, and I'm more of like a preserver. Like I think my subconscious mind thinks about, let me keep everything in top condition. Let me preserve it. Like keep like shoes, and he said that right there, babe. I'm cracking up. Keep things like in their boxes. Like I have everybody's calling my little department store, like literally, because I have everything like color coordinated, organized, and then their rightful boxes that they came in. Because I think about that fact that and it's like I don't intentionally think about it, but I guess my subconscious mind is saying, all right, well, if something happened to me and they had to like resell this stuff or something is still in like pristine condition, that they could probably like make money on it or something, or give it to somebody that could really use it. And
Right.
I'm really like really like stern on like, okay, keeping my stuff like preserved, like handbags they have their home, I keep them preserved, and their bags and stuff like that, right? And people would laugh at me and say, not you preserving your like, yeah, like I want it to look like you just bought it from the store. you
Right.
know, because God forbid something happened to me and like, you know, they had to like sell some of this stuff or something, they can still get top dollar for it because they have things what they call like thread up and things like that. I was like, people gonna be like, oh my God, this is still brand new, you know? So I'm like, even if I have to like have this love of things, I want it to be preserved to at least somebody can do something with it or make money on it if I
But,
pass it.
but
So
here's my question: are they things that will have a money turnaround,
they
a
will.
good financial okay? So that's important, you know,
Yes.
because
Yes.
like but too. So we sold my parents' furniture. That was like easy,
Mm-hmm.
but like I said, the little knickknacks, and even
Mm-hmm.
though it's porcelain, even
Mm-hmm.
though it's a certain kind of crystal or it's
Mm-hmm.
it's a collectible, and maybe
Mm-hmm.
like, we probably haven't really tried to sell it and not. I don't know. For me, it's just the burden
Right. Right. Right.
of my things. I just wanted to be quick and easy for them.
Yeah. Yeah.
Quick and
Yeah.
easy. I'm
Yeah.
done. I got rid of her. Mom's gone. We love her. We loved her, but we don't love her stuff.
I just right. Yeah. I could understand that. Like when you collecting things that probably won't have much like value or nobody probably won't have use for. Like when you're gone, like I think about that too when I'm like doing decorating or getting things. You know, I'm like, okay, will this be useful? You know, to somebody else? Will somebody else like want it or something? You know, so I definitely try to take that in consideration because you know, like my grandma passed away a few years ago, and you know, she had this, you know, this big old house with you know all these things, and you know, my aunt inherited the house, and it's like you know,
I
she
got
has
all the things.
all this house. She never had any children. It's just her with all this house with all this stuff, like
Yeah,
literally stuff, right?
yeah,
So I definitely understand it, right? But that was like a example of like going through a second chapter, like you know, starting like something new or changing career. Then we was about how like your second chapter can mean starting a new relationship, right? Some
hmm
people a second chapter involves like getting married or
right,
getting a divorce, or right,
right,
or becoming single, right?
right,
Like you with
right.
somebody for all
Sure.
these years, all of a sudden you have to navigate through like single life and stuff like
Yes,
that, right?
yes,
So like that too can also like play a big part in like doing that next phase of that next chapter, like
for
in your life,
sure, for
right?
sure. Yep.
Right. And also my favorite one is like the personal growth, the personal growth. Like I actually I think about that a lot. It's like especially at my age, like the personal growth that I had to go through. You know,
Right.
So that's a big one. That's a big
That
one.
is a big one.
Right. 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 Yeah. Yeah. I always say I feel like I got like in my wisdom years that I feel like I got a little wiser in a lot of things.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah, for sure.
Like know my limits and what I'm going to tolerate and not going
Oh,
to
yeah,
tolerate
for
and
sure.
stuff. You know?
So I always say, like, we go through life learning lessons, and
Right,
so I
right.
say, God, I didn't need to go through all of that to learn that lesson. You
That
could have
part.
just whispered that in my ear.
That part.
I would have got it. I would have got it. Just whisper
Okay.
that.
Okay.
Don't
Okay.
go down that way, Denise. Or that one's not for you. That's not. And it may possibly I would have. But I always, and like I used to tell my kids, like, God put me through that, so you don't have to go through it. I'm telling you,
That part.
if I'm driving and I'm going in the wrong direction, right?
Mm-hmm.
Next time I go driving, I'm not going to go in that direction, right?
There,
Because it's the
there you
wrong
go.
way, right?
There you go. Right,
So
right, right.
when you're driving down that road,
Mm-hmm.
speaking
Mm-hmm.
with children, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I'm going to send you down the correct way because the way I went that first time was the wrong way. I'm telling
Right,
you, so you don't have to
right.
go down that way because I'm telling you, there's a flood at the end of the road. So you don't have to
Yes,
go down there to see that there's really a flood. You just don't
yes.
go down that way.
Right, right,
So
right.
I'm trying to that's how I tried to raise my, but then I've also learned that everybody has to make their own mistakes and in
Yes,
their own time.
yes, yes,
So
yes.
I
Absolutely.
gave up trying to you learned my lesson because I learned it and you didn't.
Right, right. And
But
I feel like that was hard.
Yeah.
I feel like that was hard. Like, you know how like it's like you said, you go through a lot, like growing up, you learn a lot of like different lessons and stuff. And it's like they would say like what do you call like the chapter? Like what does the chapter mean like in your life? And it said like it's someone's life or your history. A period of time like during like a major event or like something events takes place in your life that's
Right.
considered like the chapter like in your life. And as we got to these different phases, and then like they even like break down like what the chapters are in our life, right? Like they said examples of like the chapters, like they consider chapter 1 of your life is the spring chapter, and that's like your birth through your adolescence. They consider that the chapter 1 of your life, right?
Oh, okay.
Interesting, right? Right.
Yeah.
That's considered chapter 1 when you're going through birth to adolescence, right? And then they consider like the second chapter is considered the summer element in your early adulthood, right? It's your second chapter. I'm like, wow, it's interesting, right? So, and then they said when you get to chapter 3, which they consider autumn, right? That's considered your middle age, like all right, like middle age, right? We like
Right.
literally chapter 3, right, of your life. And then they said when you get to the chapter 4 stage of life, that's when you're late, like when you consider like a senior
Right.
citizen.
Right.
So it's
Right.
like crazy how they broke up like the different chapters. Like you don't think about that, right? But they
Yeah.
say it literally has like a chapter of it, right? And as I think about it, I'm like, okay, yeah, right, because you're born, and you're a little infant, and go through adolescence, and then you become an adult, then you become middle age, and they think once you get middle age that you are old and out of touch with
Right.
I'm like, listen, I'm like, I'm not going to fall into that stereotype because I'm a woman in my 50s that I'm not going to live and enjoy. Okay.
Right. Absolutely not.
Like I'm not falling into that trap. I'm not falling into that trap. And they were saying it was actually like um a book written about like the 3 chapters of like human life. And if you think about it, it talk about your past life, your present life, and your future life. Right? And I'm like, God, really, why? That's like the things that make you go, like, yeah, everybody has a past,
Yes.
right? And then we're currently in our present life, and it's like, well, what does your future life want to look like, right?
Yes.
So those consider those like the 3 chapters of our human life too. I was like,
Right.
wow, like life is deep, life is deep.
Yeah, it is. It is.
Hello, thank you for coming in. I see we got some friends in the chat. Thank you for being here. We have been talking about the second chapter, like making most of the next phase of your life. And I had my lovely co-host Denise, and we are both women in our 50s, and we are GGs, and we have definitely experienced a lot in the next phase of our lives, right? Through a lot of different change, right? Right. But they said, well, once you get to that next chapter or that next phase, it's like it all turns into that embracing of it. Like, how did you embrace it? Like, it was like it's crucial to reflect like on like your current situation and like identifying your values and like setting goals for yourself. But that's all around like embracing that new phase, and that next chapter, right?
Because my thing is, like, you have to embrace it. Because what else you gonna do?
Right, like embrace it.
Either you embrace it or you just lay down and die.
Right.
I'm not doing that.
Child. Yeah. Yep. They said like when you come to like embracing it, that's like the moment of like your reflection and your clarity, right? Yeah, of your life, like, okay. Like when you start to like really like assess things, like about how's things going in your current life, like what are you leaving behind, right? Like what are you moving towards when you like start to embrace the next phase, right? I'm like, yeah, like that actually like resonates. That actually resonates,
For sure.
Like, yeah, it's like I left so much behind, but I'm more excited for like my
About what's
present, my
ahead.
future. right? What's coming
Yeah,
ahead,
I love
right?
it.
Right, right, right. Yeah. And it's like a part two of like how they say identifying like your core, like what's truly important to you in this new phase of life. What's truly important, right? And I feel like in this new phase, like I've had a definite sense of things that are more important that might have been important back then. Like like for instance, like my love of like dancing. Like I would love to always go out dancing. That was always like me and my sister's thing. Like we love to go out and dancing, and like that's something we had to do. It's like much as I love it, it's like it's not as important as what I'm like. Wow, like this is wild. Like I never saw a life where it was like I was not going out dancing all the time for the week,
Right.
right? It's like now it's like okay, I don't know, I'm okay, right? I was like, dang, wow, that's crazy. Like priorities.
Yes, yes, yes. No, I
Oh,
get
okay.
that. I get that
Yeah,
100%.
yeah, right. And then it was talking about like far as embracing too, like the visions, like creating a vision for your ideal life, creating that vision, right? And I'm big on like the vision board. Have you made a vision board?
Oh my God, I used to do classes like come to your house and make vision boards.
Big vision
You
board.
know, I collected a bunch of Oprah magazines
Okay.
and a lot of different magazines, and I would do vision board groups.
Mm,
So I used to be really big on vision boards,
mm,
and I
mm,
believe in them.
mm.
Everything that I've ever put on the vision board has come to pass.
Love that. Love that.
So
Love that.
and so I feel like you have to really, really think about what you're going to put on your vision board because that's a part of manifestation.
Yes, it is.
And if you're manifesting something, you have to be sure that that's exactly what you want.
Yeah.
Because once you speak it, and it's the same thing with negativity. If you speak negativity into your life is going to be negative. You
Yes.
speak positivity. I don't care at what station your life is at that particular moment. If you keep speaking positivity into your life, your positivity will come into your life.
Yeah. Yes.
So I believe in vision boards. If you wake up every day and see the same thing every day, that's why I feel like a vision board should be somewhere where you're going to see it every day. Maybe
Right.
first thing in the morning, it should be on the wall that's right in
Mm-hmm.
front of you, or at some point where you're
Mm-hmm.
going to see those things that you aspire to have or be, or for your health or whatever. You put it on a
Mm-hmm.
vision board and you look at it every day. Those things are just a manifestation of those things to come. So
Yes.
yeah.
Yes, yes, love that, love that. Yeah, yeah. In our past segments, like my sister and I were talking about the power of like manifestation, right? Like manifesting things, right? And
Right.
I'm a firm believer in vision boards. I created my vision board years ago because I laid out the blueprint for my life, what I want to see for my life, like what I envisioned for my ideal life, right? And I have not changed anything on that vision board because I'm like, this is what I want to see. Like I set the laid the groundwork. I set it in writing. This is what I want to see for my life.
For
And
yourself.
over the 3 years, like things like you said, like when you start manifesting that, like you start seeing these things like come about, they start to happen, right? Because you've already put it out there, right? So I was like, some things still have not manifested. They have not come to fruition. So I was like, I need that vision board to stay there because there's some still manifesting these
Yeah.
things, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, so I'm a strong believer. So that's great that you've actually like encourage people to do a vision board because
Yeah.
I feel like they definitely help. Definitely help. Right. But yeah, so like for those of our audience that don't actually know what a vision board is, it's not nothing, you don't have to do anything elaborate. You can just get like a poster board or something and just like take images or something or just or write something that you want to see, like creating that outlook. Okay, I like you say, I want to get a new home, or I want to travel more, put what you want to see for your life,
Right.
what does your ideal life look like for you, right? And just put it on a board, right? That's your vision, that's what you see, right?
Yeah.
Envisioning it, right? um And they were saying like you start to like in your next phase. I know, like especially for me, I can speak for myself. Like my musts and my and my shoulds. Like what's non-negotiable in your next phase? Like what are you willing to compromise on?
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I know I have a lot of like non-negotiables. What
Right,
about you?
right. Yes, I do. I do. For sure.
Yes, yes. Yes, some non-negotiable things that you are not willing to compromise on.
Right. Yes.
Yes, yes. Yeah, yeah. But it's saying like when you like start embracing it, like you know, you want to take the new opportunities like for the like your transformation, right? Like I love the term like when like people start you know going into that next chapter and it was like, oh my god, like I found like this new found like freedom, or like I've gotten more active in this, or I've embraced that, right? And that's considered like your new phase of your next chapter, right? You know, when you're taking on something that you probably wouldn't have never taken on, you know, prior to moving into like that next phase or next chapter. So I'm like I'm definitely like reevaluating like some things, like far as like now that being in my 50s, like how we were talking about like how things are like slow down a lot when you get when you get to our age, right? So like although like I like slacked a little bit with, you know, obsessing
Mhm.
in an unhealthy way, like getting in the gym and stuff, is like okay, now that things has like slowed down a lot, it's like okay, I have to be like more mindful that all right, it's okay to like reconvene and, you know, focus more on, you know, going to the gym a lot and stuff, but do it in like a healthy way, you know,
Sure.
but in a healthy way, right? So yeah, but self-care, self-care, self-care,
That's self-care.
self-care.
That's
Yeah.
self-care.
Yes, 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 yes. Like prioritizing like your physical and your mental
Yeah.
well, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's for navigating change, right? Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. My physical and mental well being means everything. Means
Mhm.
everything to me. And when I feel like they are disturbed, it's like that's the problem. That's the problem. That's the
Mhm.
problem. So I definitely have to you know, think about, you know, doing more things for me, right?
Uh-huh.
Or thinking doing more things for me, right?
Right.
But so what do you do far as like your physical and mental health?
I like to get outside and just get air.
Get air. Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes. I just like the outside. I like to just watch the trees and just watch I like the people watch. That's self-care for me because it's uninterrupted. I don't have
Mm-hmm.
to have, anybody telling me what to do or what they want to do or where they want to go and I don't have to do that. And I'm good
Mm-hmm.
with that.
Okay. Nice. 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 Nice.
So,
Yes.
like, most people like to go get their hair done, get their nails done, get their feet done. That's not self-care to me. I mean, because are you gonna come home with me and do that every day? Like, I need something that I can get to right away.
Right. Right.
And so for me, that's just fresh air
Fresh air. Yeah. Yeah.
because
No.
that revitalizes me. It makes me feel like, you know, being, just being like you're alive.
No.
You
Right.
know,
Right.
even if I just gotta open up a window and breathe it in. It's raining. I still want it. I still want it. I just want the outside,
Just the
all that.
outside. Yeah. 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 Yeah.
Yeah. What about you?
Yeah. For me, like self care, like I could just go lock myself in my bathroom and just take like a nice like bubble bath, and
Mhm.
like, we have a jacuzzi tub, and I would just sit, let the bubbles run on my back,
Uh-huh, uh-huh,
and cut
uh-huh.
the TV on, just shut out the world, and just
Yeah.
relax and soak. and do that. It's like that's my time. That's my time to rejuvenate myself. And it's not nothing simple. Like it's like, I don't need to like go out like to the spa to feel like I'm getting self-care. I got my own spa at home. Just having that quiet time for me is my way of giving myself some self-care. Right?
Yeah.
Like, literally just quiet and doing something for me and shutting everybody out.
Now that's literally the definition of self-care.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm like, and that makes me feel so good. Like I feel like so rejuvenated once I do that, once I do that. So I definitely prioritize self-care. Definitely for your physical and your mental. Right.
For sure.
And that and like I said, you don't even gotta wait till your next phase of life to do that.
Right.
Like, right now.
I feel like people don't realize that that's what they need though.
Right. It's definitely important, like especially when you get to to that next second chapter. But that's something self-care is something you want to be continuing, throughout your life anyway. Like, and it's I think a lot of people lose sight of that. Like they start to neglect themselves, and and then it's like you wonder why you like get into this fog or this certain state, and it's like, did you take time for you? Did you take time for you?
Exactly.
Like your mental health is everything. Your mental health is everything. Your well-being is everything. If you're not operating on a full cup, how are you going to pour into anything else? So I'm very, very like big on like taking care of yourself. And it was saying also like how we were talking about like learning from mistakes.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Yeah. It's like what I know now. Oh my God. Oh my God.
I didn't need that lesson to go that far for me to learn it.
Okay. Oh my God. Yes, honey. Yeah, they were saying like view them setbacks as like learning opportunities and continue to grow and evolve.
I love it.
Girl, I'm like, honey. But I always, but like we literally talk about that, like how your steps has already been ordered. Like the way things are going, it was already laid out that way, right? And sometimes it might be hard, or it might be one of those things that you like, why am I going through this? Like, or why am I having this experience? But sometimes these things needs to happen for the next step, the next phase of your life to actually happen, right? Sometimes it might not be good to sit in, I've talked about that. Like it could be that rough patch that you might say, oh my God, I don't know how I'm going to make it through. But, I'm a strong believer that, God doesn't put anything on you that you cannot bear. It might not feel good in a moment while you're sitting in it, but your steps has already been laid out. It's already been laid out. Right. So it was going to happen whether you like it or not. Right. Yeah. Right. Yeah. So I mean that even involves like making mistakes, like sometimes that mistake had to happen for you to get a lesson out of it. Right. And not do it again, or maybe you can get somebody else some wisdom to avoid them from making the same mistake.
Right.
So yeah. So I always view like that next chapter, that next phase too, is be able to provide some wisdom to somebody and keep them from going. Yes. Learning, growing, and evolving. Right. So yeah, and it basically comes down to like, like setting those like realistic goals for yourself, like, breaking down like your vision into like an actionable step, right?
Yes.
Set achievable goals, right? That's one thing that I had to really like hone in on, is just taking like the actionable steps, right? To make the vision come to life, right? So like if you ever get to that road where you say, okay, I have a vision, I gotta take the step, right, to achieve it. Like, so have you ever had that like experience? I know you were talking about that you have a couple of projects going on. So what was your actionable steps like to like make it achievable to get to that point?
Well, research,
okay,
boundaries.
Mm.
Like, so I'm still trying to achieve those goals, mind you.
Hmm. Okay.
Once
Okay.
I've completely achieved it, I'll let you know. I'll give
Okay.
you a whole list of how to get there.
Okay.
But
Okay.
excuse me. No, yeah, but yeah, it's like you gotta. I need to get focused.
Mm.
You gotta really focus in on the things that you want, and that's pretty much where I'm at.
Okay.
I'm
Okay.
need to get focused.
Get focused. Right. Got you.
Yeah.
Got you. Got you. Right. And that's and what comes along with that when you're doing like the action and implementation is like identifying like the options, like explore like the different possibilities and like the potential paths that you can take like in your new phase, right?
Right.
So yeah, I think that's a big one, like being willing to like explore the possibilities, right? Because sometimes like you get to that road, it's like, okay, like do I want to try it? Like, you know, do I feel confident in exploring this new possibility, right? I
Yeah.
think that'd be a lot of what I go through. I'm like, okay, you come up with these ideas and stuff, and it's like, okay, but what is my next steps I need to do? And do I feel confident I can do this? Like, am I
Right.
ready to like step out into it? So
Yeah,
yeah,
because there's a lot of rejection. You got to be ready for rejection.
yes, yes,
And I
yes, yes.
think that was a lot of what kept me back on a lot of things, afraid to be rejected. And, the idea doesn't seem plausible, or so
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't move forward with it. But, like, you have to be able to accept rejection.
Accept rejection. Yes, yes, yes,
Yeah,
yes,
and how it can work in your plan.
yes, yeah, yeah. And that's
Yeah.
a that's a big one. That's a big one. Being able to like sometimes no is hard. Sometimes no is hard, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
and
Yeah.
and they had a saying that they say no doesn't mean no forever.
Right.
Oh.
So wait, what did Kenny Rogers say? You got to know when to hold them,
Right.
know when to fold them,
That's
know
right.
when to walk away, right? And that's the
Yes.
thing. Like, you
Yes.
really have to know those things. You got to
Yes.
know when to
Yes.
walk away.
When to walk away. Yes. 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 Yep. And like and this and developing like the new skills,
Mhm.
like developing new skills, know when you need to develop new skills, especially the way these times is changing. Oh my God. Child. Child. It'd be the worst for me when I think about like when people starting their next phase, their next chapter, and they like struggling to like catch up to the times. Like we are in a day and age where everything is technology centered, you know. Like they're doing away with so many different things that we might have got used to and accustomed to, like
Mhm.
growing up and stuff, right? And it's like you have to like really like learn and adapt to a lot of stuff now, right?
Yeah.
And I call these like these new generation kids, these new age, these millennials, right? Woo! Child. I'm like what in the world? Like it feel like they was born into like with a cell phone in their hand or came with a chip that tell them exactly they knew what to do. And I was like, oh my God. Like I used to find it so crazy, especially with my youngest. Like, how do you know how to do this and you're like 3 years old?
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh my God. So it's like, yeah, we're definitely in a day and age, like especially as our age, like being able to like develop those skills to like keep up with times.
Yeah.
But yes, yep, yep. And they'll say also like focusing on the present, like stay present and focus, like in the current moment, right? Like while also like planning for your future, so staying present in the moment. Staying present in the moment and prepare. Listen so how you feel about like what your future life is gonna look like? Like, do you feel like hopeful? That you feel like that you're in your present life that you're preparing for the
Yeah.
future, right?
We talk about it almost every single day.
Yeah,
We
yeah,
do. We do.
yeah,
We
yeah.
do.
Good, good, good. Yeah. Yeah. And sometimes like thinking about like the future looking like it could get a little scary sometimes. Like, oh my God,
Yeah,
like
I feel like I never did that before as much as we do it now. Like I never really planned and prepared. I just like was stumbling through life, you know?
that part, that part.
Yeah.
It's amazing how like how your priority and your mind shifts like when you get to that next chapter. That's like, oh man, like man,
Yes.
like things I think about now, I really didn't think about back then.
No, not at all.
Right?
And I wish that I did, but I didn't know. Like you don't have a crystal ball, you don't know what's ahead of you. You don't know what's ahead of you. All you know is what's behind you. So you got to work with
Exactly.
what you've learned and implement that into your life moving forward. But
Right.
that's not to say that the things that you really still do need to learn, you have to stop trying to learn them because you're like life is just learning every single day.
Yes.
But the things that you've learned in your past, you have to use them for your future.
Absolutely.
And I'm
Absolutely.
trying to grasp that fact.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Mm-hmm. Right.
even now.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah. 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 Um, yep. And like we were talking about like creating the life that you envisioned it, right? You know, I think that visualization part is very, very important. Very important. Like, um, focus on like the positive outcomes, and just honing in on that. Just honing on like visualizing the success that something that you thought about or that
yeah,
idea is going to come to fruition, right?
yes,
I see it. It's coming.
see it right. Then it materializes. You're like, oh my god.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Right? And it's
Yes.
funny because like it's like you talk about it all the time. Like, like I thought something up and it's like, oh my God, that really happened just by me thinking about it. That's why I said like protect your thoughts. Protect your thoughts. Be careful what you're thinking, okay? Because sometimes even if you're not thinking something not so good or you're thinking something like negative or you're like in fear or something or something's bad is going to happen, like you can actually manifest that, and we always talk about reframing your thinking,
Yes.
so
Yes. Yes. Yes.
reframing your thinking, right? Um, yeah. So it's like, as you doing like all that and embracing, and it's like, just acknowledging that you're in a transition. That things
Yes.
are changing.
Because we are.
Things are changing, right? And
Yeah.
it's like being kind to yourself, right? Like as you navigating through this new like this new reality. Like this is where we are. It's like, yeah, like we talked about how our kids are like grown and like moved on. It's like what is new life gonna look like, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
Right? And it's like just live again, right? Like, and I love the fact that, like you said, like I started off, I found love again, and living our best life and traveling and all that stuff,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
that's what you are supposed to do. That's what you're supposed to do. Yeah, yep. Like be kind to yourself, right? Yeah. And like you said, how we just gonna work on our goals and our values and what our priorities are, and just like to make the plans to do it. Like, definitely, like I know, like for me, like I'm probably sure we probably can relate to that. Like being like GGs and stuff. Like you want to like do something where you're gonna leave a legacy, like for your grands and stuff like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
and I think about like I never envisioned myself years ago like being like on social media or like being on this platform, and when I say literally just like hit me like maybe like a couple years ago, like literally to like to want to share and give like advice, like share my experiences, or maybe I could just say something or share something that could help that one person, you
Right.
know
Right.
and it's like I always say, like I went through so many different things in my life, and it's like, and I was just keeping all these things to myself, not sharing like how I got through it, or how I had to crawl my way out. It was like certain situations and stuff, and it was just like that voice of God that spoke to me, like, you know what, you girl, I watched you through a lot of stuff, stuff that you spent many days and many hours crying through all your tears, not knowing how you were going to get through, how you were going to navigate, and look where you are. Look where you are. So like these are things you need to share and share your story and stuff, right? So
Right.
yeah, so I definitely like embrace like this next phase and this chapter of my life because I never saw myself in this phase of my life, right? So where I'm like more open and wanting to share, with people and stuff. So I feel like that's a big achievement for me, right?
Oh yeah, for sure, 100%.
Right, right. Like how they call it, stepping outside of your comfort zone, right? I've
Yes.
stepped outside of my comfort zone, right?
Yes.
And I've embraced like the new opportunities and like I'm like, okay, like I'm not like perfect, I'm gonna make mistakes, but it's like if I could just like get the word out there or help somebody, I feel good. I feel good about it, right? Right. So yeah, and they were saying just like, like focusing on like your activities or your relationships with things that bring you joy and fulfillment. Right? Right. And we talk about like being able to travel, like spending time with that significant other, living life, right?
Learning and doing new things.
Doing new things, Yes, yes, yes. Yeah, like I'm like when I say become so open minded to things. I don't know about you. Have you become open minded to
Yes.
things that you
Yes.
never thought you would do?
Never. Yes, absolutely.
Yes, becoming open minded for a lot of things, right? But yeah, but in a nutshell, when it's like when you're going through that next phase or that second chapter in life, it was like rewrite your story. Rewrite your story, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Yep. They said that the new chapter is an opportunity to rewrite your story and create a life that aligns with your values and your aspirations, right?
Right.
And contribute to something bigger. Contribute to something bigger, right? And consider how you can contribute, right? Find ways to make a positive impact and to your community, to the world, to your surroundings. Yes. Yes. Love that, love that. And and that's why I say I definitely like embrace like this new change, this new chapter, this new phase in life. That's I feel like I'm at a place where I can like make a contribution, you know, to something bigger than me, to something bigger than me.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. So, but yeah, but it's like when before you get to this point, like how they say they think like when you get 50, life is over.
Nah, it's just beginning.
It just began. It just began. How they say like 50 is the new 40. It's just beginning. Just beginning. It's like live your life. So for all our viewers and listeners out there, honey, when you get 50, if you ain't got there yet, life does not stop. Like that could be like a new second life. Like breathe new life into you. Take on new adventures and new possibilities. Like look at us, like I'm like, listen, I've been living my best life.
Yes.
living my best life. It's like it does not slow me down at all. Period. Yes. So you could do it. It is attainable. Do not let that next chapter like discourage you or think that oh my god, like the world is ending and I can't do this. No, that's the time for you to get a fresh start, and you will be surprised at how much you can do and what you can achieve in that next phase or next chapter in your life.
I agree 100%.
Yes. Well, Miss Denise, I appreciate you so much for being a part of Sister Talk today.
Absolutely.
Talking about our second chapter in our new phase. Yes, I totally enjoyed you, and it's like I feel like that we have a lot of common as far as it being our second chapter. Like we are very seasoned and experienced women. Okay, that's still living our life, right?
Hey,
I'm letting nothing hold us back. Okay,
nothing.
Yes. But yeah, so this has been our Sister Talk Sunday. Yes, and as you can see, I have my lovely co-host Denise with us today to talk about our topic. And I always say, you never know what we're gonna talk about. This every Sunday is different. You never know what the next topic of discussion is going to be.
I love it.
But I totally appreciate everyone for being here. You could have been anywhere on these YouTube streets and you were a part of a slide. And for that, it is all love, all love, all love. Totally, totally, totally appreciate you. And if you have not done anything for yourself, please do something for you. Please do something for you. And I want you to have a great rest of your day. And most of all, have an amazing week. And I look forward to talking with you on our next Sister Talk Sunday. Take care, everybody. Hi, Demi. Bye, guys.